I'm John. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada. I've done 2 deals with Ashcroft, and I'm a dentist and a university professor. As a dentist, I don't have the time to really know real estate at the level that other people do. So when you look at investing in real estate, which I think should be a portion of everybody's investment portfolio or retirement portfolio, I think that there's a lot of issues that could come up as an individual investor. You know, buying a house, you need more capital on hand. You have to deal with repairs. You have to deal with issues associated with the properties. So investing in a vehicle like this allows you to still be in real estate, which I believe stays with inflation, as well as not having to deal with the consequences of owning it yourself. So for me, it was about trying to get into real estate specifically, but not be in real estate individually. So that's how I would say it. I have a friend who referred me to them. And when I was referred, I filled out the application basically to invest. And I heard directly from 2 of the top people that work there. And I'm also a retired Army officer, and they have family members that were military, either former or still serving. And I think people who are raised in an environment where standards matter, results matter, and effort is important, that meant a lot to me. That meant that these are people who are familiar with the problems or the difficulties that me and my family have had through either service or just through hard work, and they would respect my investment and my money and work for my best interest. So I really had a positive first interview with them. I don't think I really had any concerns or worries. Once I turned in my form to get validated as an investor, I've always spoken to people at Ashcroft. It's never been outsourced. I've never had a conversation with somebody that wasn't able to answer my questions or anything. So if I had any concerns, it would have been with another company that was maybe too large to deal with their investors, or maybe it was a group that was more interested in their self-gain instead of their investors' gain. And so I don't have any concerns with investing with Ashcroft. I have full confidence. It's a group of people who seem to have a very high standard for themselves, and I've had a great experience with Ashcroft. I will say that my overall feeling is just comfort. Basically, I know that they're doing good things. The 2 main ones would be the return on the investment. I think the numbers speak for themselves, and also the communication. When you have an issue, or if you have any questions, when you contact Ashcroft, you speak to somebody at Ashcroft. There's nothing outsourced. If you have a legitimate question, or even just a not a very important question, but just a question, I always hear back from somebody, usually in a position of authority or in a position of responsibility, where they can answer the question. And it's usually from the company directly. Actually, it's every single time it's been from the company directly. I've never had an outsourced question answered. It's a very tight-knit company, and they seem to be very competent in communicating with their investors. One is just confidence. It's really a good company. The financial industry can sometimes be bad-mouthed for certain reasons, and Ashcroft is just an honest and ethical company. Their communication, I can't speak to the communication enough. It's just, they're so good at handling and dealing with their investors and communicating with their investors. So one of the things I would say is just confidence. The second thing would be, I think it's important to have real estate in your portfolio as you get older, because real estate grows with inflation, but also the passive income side, I think, is important. So I think that's the other reason that I recommend them. I've recommended them to a few people, and I truthfully, I think dealing with the inflationary side of things and having real estate, but without having to own an individual unit where the air conditioning goes out and you got to front that money, or those types of things. All that's built into the investment, which makes it a very easy investment. And then third is, I guess, let me think about the third one. I did positive experience. I guess the last one will be just good return on investment. It's just, I mean, their vehicles generate revenue. I think they're very good with identifying properties that they could turn around, that they can improve and then turn around for an increased profit. And so I think their skill, just their ability to identify the right markets, the stable markets. I live in a non-stable market. We have fluctuations in our prices of homes and rent yearly. It can be fairly dramatic, but their properties are always in stable markets with stable industries around. When you read their descriptions of the properties that they're purchasing, they're just stable. They're cities that have a deep backbone of some sort of an industry or an employment history that is stable. So I think they're very smart with how they identify the properties that they invest in. My initial investment was $50,000, and over the 4 years of my initial investment, I received monthly checks from rent, and this was through COVID. Even through COVID, they were able to not only help people stay in the rental units, which I think they helped people with some of their rent, but I never saw any change in the amount of money that I was paid on my monthly returns. But I think they also did it in a kind and a generous way. I don't think people were evicted or that kind of a thing. I think they were very responsible with how they dealt with COVID and people struggling with employment. But on the investor side, most people are very much about where's my money, or I need my returns. I never worried about it. And my initial $50,000 investment grew to $72,000 in 4 years. But the monthly checks and monthly returns was over $28,000. So my original $50,000 in 4 years became almost $101,000. And so as I'm 50 and as I'm heading towards retirement in the next 10 or 15 years, having some passive income is important to me. And so I will be increasing the amount that I invest with them, because I'm looking also for that passive income that will supplement my lifestyle as I reduce the amount of work that I do. So I think real estate investing for people is important. I come from a family that doesn't have much. I will never get an inheritance. I paid for myself to go to college. I served my country, and I'm working towards having some financial independence. And I think this is one piece of the pie that helps people gain sort of that financial independence as you age. And so I agree to do this because my situation is probably not unique. There's probably a lot of people who came from not much and have achieved some level of success, but don't have the time. As a dentist and as a university professor, I can't go research the real estate market. So I'm okay paying somebody, having somebody earn their income off helping me identify good investments and then managing that for me. So I think that's how I would say that. I'm definitely interested in investing in future funds. So part of me is my children are going to be going to college soon, and these investments will allow me to not front a bunch of money, but actually basically give them the monthly payouts as they're spending money, and it's not going to cost me anything on my income side of things, and also allows me to have something that I can put in their name and give them kind of an early start. But I have enough in stocks and in a retirement plan, and what I really need is I need a stronger real estate side of things that's less volatile. And I think real estate is a much more stable investment, especially in the markets that they choose. And so for me, I'm looking to start putting more money in these more stable and revenue positive, basically the passive income. I really look forward to more passive income to reduce my need. I really believe in Ashcroft Capital. I think from my very first conversation, my very first contact with them, and every contact since then has been somebody with authority at Ashcroft Capital answering my questions, talking to me about things. Their web-based dashboard is easy to go on and see what's happening with your investments. But I really strongly believe that it's a good, solid company with honest intentions and good morals. But their communication, the ability for them to just react in a day to an email and call you right back and answer any questions you have, it just brings a lot more confidence to their ability and their level of how important we are as investors. So